Our reporter Kylie Kumalo to bring us the very latest relating to the Chargé affairs, Mr. Seidman being asked to vacate South Africa in just 72 hours. Kylie, it's the breaking story this hour. Just share with us the details surrounding this statement we've just received.
Well, precisely, Mfundo, quite a very unprecedented step taken by the South African authorities. And obviously, the primary motivation behind this step, they talk about a very unacceptable violation when it comes to the conduct. And obviously, the ambassadors accredited here in South Africa, they're guided by the Vienna Convention and many other just diplomatic instruments. And also, from time to time, you do see those social media engagements through the page that is dedicated to the Israeli embassy. But obviously, I mean, Fundo, when you look at the relations between South Africa and Israel, they are very severely strained. We saw that step as well a couple of years ago where South Africa decided to withdraw its ambassadors purely because of the events that were unfolding in Gaza. But also we've seen also the South African parliament as well, where that motion was adopted, where now the whole issue of the downgrading of diplomatic ties between South Africa and Israel. And of course, now the ball is in the court of the executive of South Africa to go ahead with that particular step. So a very, very important decision here taken by the South African authorities and Mfundo, but also going as far as giving Mr. Seidman about 72 hours to vacate South Africa. So undoubtedly quite a very big step between South Africa and Israel.
And one can only imagine what becomes the reaction of Israel and the United States. But just combing through the statement, since we've just received it, I see here that it says there have been a series of unacceptable violations of diplomatic norms and practices, and goes on to quote social media posts of Mr. Seidman. Can you share with us examples of some of these social media posts that they felt were very disrespectful of President Cyril Ramaphosa?
I mean, obviously, the tension has always been there between South Africa and Israel and Mfundo. And obviously, some of these posting on X, on social media, they've just been so reflective of the attitude coming from Israel through their social media page. But also, we've seen also some South Africans traveling to Israel and also going with the embassy. But obviously, we're still just going to try and gauge reactions from so many South Africans, the department itself, in terms of really this particular extraordinary step, but also during the course of the day, we're hoping to hear from that diplomatic mission, because just to give you just in terms of the significance of our location, we're just outside the Israeli embassy right here in Pretoria, in the suburb of Linwood, and we're hoping to just get their reaction as well as to what's going to be the way forward, because as you know that South Africa and Israel has been quite a very tough diplomatic relations between these two countries. And Israel is, of course, a strong ally of the U.S. And we know of the very frosty ties between South Africa and the U.S. And one of the main reasons, of course, it's always been widely attributed to South Africa's case before the International Court of Justice. And South Africa said it was very clear for them to go to the World Court because of those events that were unfolding in Gaza, because of the atrocities that were committed. And of course, South Africa accusing Israel of violating the Genocide Convention. And of course, quite a very big moment in this regard, especially in Mfundo. We know that when you look at the Trump administration and President Ramaphosa, it hasn't been a very easy one in terms of the very unpredictability. And undoubtedly, this is really going to add to that layer of really just misunderstandings and the disagreement. And South Africa still knows that the U.S. remains a very key trading partner, and in fact it's a mutually beneficial relationship between the two countries, as much as South Africa is benefiting, but also by the very same token the U.S. as well substantially is benefiting from this particular relationship.
All right, Kylie, thank you very much for that update.